Twin.
The time of 5:30 has arrived. I'd like to call this meeting of the first CDBG 2026 meeting to order. Mayor, if I could ask you to do our Pledge of Allegiance to start
Okay.
the meeting.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, we've noted in the advertisement that we have the public hearing date, place and time, ability of disability folks to participate in the meeting, and additional items that the ad required. And I believe that those are sufficient, and if anyone would like to add anything to that part, they can, but I believe we're sufficient with that. So at this point, Mayor, I'd like to turn the meeting over to you to discuss the purpose of the session, the guidelines to be followed under the CDBG procedures and mandates, and any ideas submitted for consideration thus far for funding.
Okay. Well, first off, CDBG is Community Development Block Grant Program. This is something that's allocated by DCED, which is Department of Community Economic Development. It is a state-funded program, and what it's really intended to do is to provide funding for projects involving those that may not get funding in other methods. In other words, LMI, low medium income. As such, they set some rules to this. 70% of the requirement of this money, which happens to be a total of $304,761, has to be spent in the LMI community. The other 30% is typically used for administration, engineering, and those types of things for the various projects that go along. The date that this has to be submitted to Pennsylvania for a program approval is October the 30th, which is coming around pretty fast when you think about things very quickly. The purpose of this meeting is the first time that we offer the public the ability to suggest ideas of how they like this money to be spent. Now, there are some rules and guidelines associated with this money. If there's any doubt about whether it's something that qualifies or not, we have Aaron here, who is expert with CDBG funds and can keep us on track with that. So with that, I will open well, let me just give you some ideas as to what I think the city needs, and we can take it from there. We can add to this, subtract from it, or whatever the case may be. But right now on Schoonmaker, between Tyrol and Parente, there's no street lights, none at all. Those street lights were given to the city back in, I can't remember the year, but it's been many years ago, long before I was in this part of the world. The West Penn has no desire whatsoever to contribute to getting those fixed. They're just a problem. It's just pitch black there. When you come into our city and there's no street lights, that's difficult for people that are walking down. It's not safe for those people walking on the sidewalk, and it's not safe for the vehicles coming down the road. That is something that I feel pretty strongly about. Another thing that I think we need to consider is the boat launch and how we can properly address the ceiling that it involved. The boat launch was a project done, I should know these dates, but I don't. I would want to say it's somewhere in the neighborhood of the early 2000s. And it was a project that was done using largely the Boat and Fish Commission money, and also some monies put in by the person that owned the dump at the time. And as such, they took barges, stacked them up, filled them with stone, and then stacked them up on the side of the bank of the river, and then put dirt on top of them, planted trees, and extended the park out over what was normally riverfront property. What I would like to do is to get our engineering to investigate the possibility of coming up with some sort of sealant that they can put in there to seal those rocks into place where the barges are rusting out so that the rocks don't just go out in the river, but rather stay in place and basically stabilize the structure that's holding up the park. And that's one of the things I'd like to devote some money from CDBG for. Another thing that would make a lot of sense to me is a restroom and lighting at our 9th Street Park. What's the name of that park?
Anthony Madison.
The Anthony Madison Park. It's a park that we've invested pretty heavily in the last 10 years, 8 years for sure, that still needs to continue. There's still a lot of people that use that park. In fact, there's more and more people using it all the time. I think that if we continue to improve it, it will continue to become a focal point for a substantial part of our LMI population over in that area. One of the other problems we have is we have a lot of playgrounds around, swing sets, various playground equipment that has become unsafe after all these years. It's become very rusted, the chains are not safe, the swings are not safe, they've been disabled. Some money associated to our parks, playground and parks equipment would be very well received, I think. The fire department has asked that we consider putting a pole beside the downtown fire department, a telephone pole basically, something that they can put their siren on. Right now that siren's located on top of the building on 3rd and Schoonmaker, and that is not a building that's owned by the city. That belongs to an independent company, a group. The point being is we need to move that to the property of the city and put it on a pole and relocate that siren. The balance of the money I want to spend on fixing our roads. Our roads are horrendous. We need money on roads in the worst kind of way. There's some basic things that we need to take care of in the city that we don't have other ways of taking care of that we can do. Those are the things I listed, but any remaining funds should be done with the roads. One thing to point out is the CDBG from last year, and I'm talking 23 and 24 CDBG funds, although this morning year it's just now getting spent. We paved a number of roads and we have money left over from those paving. So we have something in the order of about $80,000 or $90,000 in funding for roads already. Aaron has identified some roads that we can pave pretty much right now today, such as Knox from 4th Street to 10th Street, or 4th to 9th, I guess it is. But in any event, there's a number of roads like that we can pave today because they meet all the qualifications. We need more roads. Now, if the road isn't, and Aaron can help me with this if I misstate this, roads that provide major transportation routes for the community to use are easier to justify than local city roads, local residential roads. Local residential roads in general require a survey be conducted. Is that? That is accurate. Okay. This survey is very difficult to acquire. As an example, between 10th on Knox, between 10th and 14th Street, we've tried multiple times to get survey results, and with very little to show for it. With that, I will open it up for comments from anybody else that would like to talk about things that they think would be appropriate in the city. State your name and.
Daniel J. Kowalk. I live at 604 Eastgate Manor, apartment 604.
Okay.
I feel we really do need a traffic signal right there at the bottom of Monessen and Schoonmaker. I've seen cars go through there 50 miles an hour, hear the brakes squealing. Somebody's really going to get hurt there unless we do something.
That's a good point. Visibility is absolutely miserable at that intersection.
You know it is.
It's,
furthermore, why wait for someone to get run over or have a lawsuit against the city, you know? It'd be much cheaper to
I see a couple of ways we could address that. One, we could change that to one way going up, and coming down, you have to go over to First Street to come down. You have a little bit better visibility there.
I don't know.
But I don't know that people would really,
All you really
accept
need
that.
is a solar cell and some, lights.
well, that's not necessarily true. First off, that is a PennDOT road, so we have to do things to PennDOT specifications.
I see.
That complicates it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It may be that we could get PennDOT to maybe do a traffic study on that and determine if
I'm
Get them to pay
squealing
for it.
tired all the time up there.
it's bad, I understand. That's an excellent point, okay?
Also-
Anything else?
Also, I'm kind of concerned about the city garage they built back around 1980. The Pittsburgh consultants call, and they say, well, it's not safe for people to park cars there. I disagree. I looked at it, it was fine to me.
Yeah, unfortunately though, we have engineering that went up there and did a study on it, and they say that it is not safe. And that,
Huh.
in fact, we had a couple cars damaged because plaster fell off the roof and onto the cars.
Oh, I see.
So it was forced to be condemned, and,
Mm.
I don't know that CDBG could even be used to demolish a parking garage, do you know? That might be something we need to look into. That's a very good point. Demolish that and turn it into street level parking.
That might be fine. I'm also concerned about the city park up there. As I say, it's been about 28 years since a tornado ripped through the place. There's so many unplanted open areas where you could easily plant a tree. I feel it'd be good for the kids in the community to kind of plant their own tree and watch them grow up as they get older. I feel it'd be kind of beneficial for them.
We have what's called the Shade Tree Commission, and it's a board that meets here, and in fact, there's openings on that board if you'd like to sit on that board.
Uh-huh.
That is really intended to provide shade trees in places like our city parks. There are
There's a lot of
several-
open ground up there. Plenty of room to plant some trees, you know, like cherry trees are very rare in Pennsylvania now.
Yeah. There's some guidelines that have been provided, what kind of trees we can plant on those. But yes, you're right.
Uh,
What else? Good ideas.
I'm thinking of picking up some of this trash around there. If we pay someone, say, $7 or $8, $9, maybe $10 an hour, it'd be like making work like Franklin Delano Roosevelt came up with in the late 20s, early 30s.
I don't know that
It would
CDBG can pay
generate wealth.
for that, but I would point out that we do have a group in town that can do that type of thing. That's what's the name of that group?
The Supernova
The
Group?
Supernova Group is a group of people that are coming into town that can pick up the trash and do things like that.
There's
We have-
aluminum cans and plastic bottles, all that junk, especially at the top of that Ninth Street Park you mentioned. I walked up there probably 5, 6, 8 years ago, and there's this stuff lying around. Nobody ever, really strapped an old tire or all that junk living up there.
The city also conducts some cleanup days. I'd like to encourage you and others to join in and help us, but we do have several cleanup days. And these are mandated by our MS4, which is a state regulated thing about streets and so forth, or that getting into our sewer systems and so forth.
Oh, yeah.
Good ideas.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Anything else? Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, I'd like to adjourn this meeting. Anybody have anything they'd like to say before I adjourn it? The meeting is adjourned.
Another thing, over where I live, they have